Here we go. Start recording. Hello. Can you hear me now, people? If anybody here? If so, say hello. And if not, no worries. It'll just be me. Hello. Hello, me. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. Manage videos. Yes, I am live now. Delete. Oh dear. Hello, Adam. Bit of a technical hitch there. I don't know why it was scheduled for 8 o'clock and I went live at 8 o'clock and no live chat, nothing. So good to see you. Any gossip with you over in England? Yeah, I'm good. Just tired. Body clock is all over the place and woke up at 6:30 this morning. Yeah, and it's normally 7 o'clock, but it's getting earlier, which is frightening. Because I'm normally a bit of, reasonably early person, early morning person, 8 o'clock sometimes. But 6:30, it's unusual. So how are you? You good? Dum, dum, dum. Come on, peeps! Jesus, I sound weird there. Sound like Kermit the Frog. Jesus, that's fucked up. Oh dear. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Especially on Saturday, yeah. Very much so. Don't know why, I just woke up. See, I normally wake up at 7. Because, you see, I'm the kind of person, if I'm awake, I can't get back to sleep. No matter what I do. Especially if it's morning. I've always been like that. It's weird. It's too early for a start, to be honest with you, but yeah. I got some stuff done. Well, sort of. I suppose it's just me and you for now. Had a day around the house. Brilliant. What did you do? Did you do anything good, or are you just chilling? Hope it was chilling. That's all I can say. Because I don't know if you're practically minded, because you do DIY or whatever. I don't know. Hello, Kieran. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Kieran Poncho Man. For those who, in the future, if you're watching this and I happen to be a Midland-sized YouTuber, have a look out for Glenn, or Kieran. He's going to be very famous in the future. He's going to be a film director or a writer of scripts. So, you heard it here first. Adam says, have you heard from Glenn? Not since Monday. I just messaged him and see how he was after, the stream last weekend. Not since, but, anything happened? Or I know he's busy this next 2 weeks or so with work and stuff, so he probably is tired out and he won't be here. But hello, John Rennie. How are you this afternoon or evening or night, whatever? Sorry, I'm hyper, as in all over the shop. You will, Kieran, you will. You've got to drive for it. We know you will. Adam asks, Kieran, is Poncho a nickname? That's a good question. I've always wanted to know that myself. Sounds something like a western. Like something you might see in a Mexican or something, or with some sombrero and having a bit of tequila, or a little fiesta. Well, tonight's stream is physical media related, as in I have last count probably over 1,000 movies, and I promised Adam I would show off some of them. Now today I've been looking through the collection, and I've found some unusual ones and some common titles, and some of these are how to say, they're well known, most of them, but some aren't. If I butcher names, forgive me. And well, that's, how can I say, there's a few unusual names here, and looking into two little boxes. Kieran says, Collector Adam, Poncho's a super minor nickname in that no one calls me by it, but I like it, though it is my username on Doom World. Okay, cool. I suppose for those who can't pronounce my first name, Poncho is a good substitute. Well, Kieran is an Irish name. The way you spell it, it's an Irish name, so I have no problem with that, pronouncing it. But it's also the Kieran pronunciation, or spelling I should say, which is the anglicised version, I think, or maybe Americanized, I don't know. Oh, Lampy Man's in the house. Hello Glenn, how are you? Good you can make it. We were just talking about you a few minutes ago, your ears must have been burning. Hope all's okay with you. I was just saying there, the stream tonight is primarily going to be physical media based, and I'm just going to talk about a few movies that I like and a few directors. Now it's going to be a bit of a box set, so you have to bear with me. So when you are ready, just give me a thumbs up that you want to start on the discussion, or we can talk a bit longer first, or whatever. I'm easy, despite what Richard Upton says. I'm joking, by the way, if Richard's watching in the future or whatever. Hello John, welcome back. John Smith, ahoy hoy all, which is calling Monty Burns after all that. But then again, I suppose it was what Alexander Graham Bell said, wasn't it? I shall have to catch that later on. Hope it was something nice. It was, don't worry, it wasn't anything bad, Glenn. So it was just, we're hoping you had a good week and you weren't too busy at work, or not too stressed at work, that's all. So it's good. John, Rennie, that is, any luck in the links I sent you regarding what? Probably not much help as I said to you, but unfortunately it's one movie of Roman Polanski's I'm not that familiar with. If it was something like Bitter Moon or Ninth Gate or Rosemary's Baby or whatever, something like that, I would be pretty, up to date with it, but I don't know anything about what. Unfortunately, I never heard of it, and until, well, I suppose it was, I think I looked it up, it was before he made Chinatown, so he went from that to that. Glenn says, I'm knackered but halfway through the stint. Well, that's one way of looking at it. You're halfway through it and another half to go, and then you can just chill, hopefully. Excuse my ugly arms. Just have quite a bit of tenseness in my fingers, but I'm okay. So, right. What time are we at? Quarter past. Okay. And we are at 10 minutes. Okay. Cool. That's good. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. No drop frames. Awesome. Looking at the OBS screen here. CPU usage 13.5. Brilliant. Not too high. 60 FPS. Awesome. John Smith says, Roman Polanski is a director I have trouble with. I love some of his films, but have to reconcile with the problems. Yeah, I'm the same. John Smith, I am the same. I like Polanski. Just don't like his personal life. Obviously, what he's done, and, you know, well, maybe we don't know if it's. Well, I don't know, I should say, if it's been proved. But he's not leaving France anytime soon. So, you know, I think if he went back to Poland, he would be made to go over to America and face his, you know, his jury, so to speak. John Rennie, yeah, they were great, thanks. Just trying to read all I can at the moment. I love the Ninth Gate too. Yeah, the Ninth Gate it's pretty unique in his filmography, I think. You know, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a horror, I wouldn't call it a mystery, I'd more call it a kind of a thriller. And, you know, Johnny Depp does really well in it for what he's, you know, done with, you know, or has to deal with. You know, it's a lot of confusion, and I suppose for, you know, an actor like him, you know, he's done a lot of good stuff, you know, before that and after that, and he's got his own issues now himself. Not saying that's connected, but, you know, as an actor, that was one of the first movies I loved of his. And I was looking for it forever on DVD and couldn't find it anywhere. And you know, this is before the internet. I got it, you know, had internet before I had Amazon and stuff like that. And then one day I found it in a charity shop, my second home, you could say. And I watched it and watched it and watched it and watched it, and I still watch it maybe once every 6 months. Kieran says, at John Smith, that's the main reason I've avoided his work. Once he's 6 feet under, then I'll start watching them. That's fair enough, Kieran. You know, it's okay. You do what you know. You stick to your guns, and that's fair enough. John Smith, his version of Macbeth was definitive, but yeah, problems. I haven't seen that, to be honest with you. When you say definitive, you know, it would probably be up there. And I only know, I think Ian McKellen was in the Royal Shakespeare Company version. So I know obviously Shakespeare wrote it and back in the day, you know, and you know, so I know the story of it, but I've never seen a film adaptation of it. So, like we did Othello as our Shakespeare for our Leaving Cert in my year, and that was a boring ass play, to be honest with you. I would prefer something like The Tempest or A Midsummer Night's Dream or something like that myself, personally. But John Rennie, he said he saw The Ninth Gate as a comedy. Okay. That's unusual, but he thinks he missed a mark with it. Personally, I love it. So quirky, dark, and mysterious. Yeah, it is very quirky. You know, it is dark too. Yeah, it's not just. I think it's setting in Europe as well, the old country, so to speak. You know, like you got Dean Corso. He's obviously an American, and he's going over to Europe, looking for these authenticating these books for his his patron even, and it really adds to it. It adds to the mystery. And then when you, again, spoilers if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. At the end or near the end, when Frank Langella's character, I forget his name, begins with B anyway. Not Bartok. That's the Fly too. Can't think. But yeah, he doesn't get what he wanted. Turned out that one of the pages is missing, and I think that's cool. It's a nice little twist. John Smith, though, why he is still wanted in the US is a bit complicated. He was sentenced for the crime he committed, but served a few days in a psych hospital and was released. A judge wanted to resentence. Oh, okay. Which is massively illegal, so he fled. Right, okay. Okay. Didn't know that. John Rennie, Polanski's Macbeth was produced by Playboy. Fun fact, LOL. Interesting. Shakespeare produced by Playboy. Who would have thought it? Kieran, Poncho. I'll just call it Kieran. I'm so dead focused on movies that I've largely neglected a load of theatre and literature. I don't think I watched the Shakespeare in its entirety. He wrote some good stuff, Kieran. He wrote some boring ass stuff, but I suppose back in the day it would have been thrilling. I just think, Othello myself was very, very boring. And when you're doing it every day in an English class, it is kind of like, it gets to you, and I didn't really take it in, to be honest with you. I understood the plot, and I understood why Othello and Desdemona and Iago, the main characters, and what their motivations were. But when you compare that to Hamlet, or as I said, Midsummer Night's Dream, a bit more lively and fantastical, I should say. It would have been good, but even Romeo and Juliet, double murder or double suicide, whatever, I don't know. Glenn says just picked up Willy's Wonderland. Not quite Polanski level cinema, but I'm looking forward to showing my brother it when I get back. Okay, Willy's Wonderland. I've never heard of that. Interesting. Who directs that, Glenn? I never heard of it. John Rennie, yeah, he must have been in a very dark place. The film is filled with dread. Yeah. Kieran, I do have a word copy of Romeo and Juliet, though. Okay. Is that, you mean like a copy? Yeah, okay, gotcha. John Smith at Glenn, I like Willy's Wonderland to unreasonable degree. In my head canon, Cage between himself. It's Nicolas Cage. Okay, right, okay. Okay, as I said, I've never heard of it. But that's Nicolas Cage, yeah. Well, I might have a look and see even look at the trailer, see what it's like, and if it's something I'd be interested in watching. Okay, right. Well, I think we'll start about the collection. As it's only about maybe 20 or so movies, maybe more, not much more. It's a recent Nick Cage movie. Okay, recent, right. The most recent one I've seen of his, the Lovecraft adaptation he did with, oh Jesus, can't I think of his name? Sure, The Color Out of Space. Yeah, you know the one, Glenn. You have it yourself. It's described as a film version of Five Nights at Freddy's. I've heard of that. I've heard of Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, I've heard of that. So that'll be fun. John Smith says, though in my head canon, Nicolas Cage has played himself in every movie. Well, his latest movie, I can't remember the name of it. It's only out this year. He has played himself. So he must have been, it must have been hard for him, a difficult role. Joking, Nicholas, if you're watching. You're probably not. Right. First 3 movies of my extensive collection, which, as I said, is only a few movies, or box sets as well. It's a trilogy, and they are the Infernal Affairs trilogy, otherwise known as The Departed for the remake, directed by Martin Scorsese, pronounce his name right. Color Out of Space, sorry, yes. It was weird, but I loved it. The color, of the movie, the photography, cinematography is brilliant, and great story, very funny. John Rennie Mandy was pretty cool with Cage, and I like Color Out of Space too. Definitely had the Lovecraft feel to it in places. Glenn says it's great and Pig. Yeah, I've seen the trailer for Pig, and it looks good. It looks funny, although it's probably seem more serious than comedy, I'd say. So, Infernal Affairs. Yes, Kieran, Hong Kong cinema. It's definitely a lot more superior than The Departed, in my opinion. And as I said, it's a trilogy. This is the second one, but it's actually the prequel to the first. It gives a little story, of why the protagonist and antagonist are the way they are, and what made them do, be sent into the police force and the mob, or the triad. No, actually, that's Japanese. Yeah. I have to be honest, Andy Lau and Tony Leung, really good actors, and definitely one of my favorites. And there's the third one. Sorry, get that a bit better. Yep, there we go. It's definitely one of my favorite trilogies out there. What can I say that's not has been said before about it? It's action-packed. It's intense. It's very of its time, you could say, as well. And some of the actors went on to be in Hollywood movies. Andy Lau especially. He was part of Dark Knight with Christopher Nolan. Yeah. It's, if you haven't seen it, definitely go for it, or at least watch one part of it anyway, and it'll want you looking for more. Next up is this one, Disco Pigs. Cillian Murphy and Elaine Cassidy. Now, this is an Irish movie. It's Cillian Murphy's very first, or one of his very first movies, and he plays a character called Pig. There we go, perfect timing. And and he's obsessed with his neighbor, Runt. I know it's original, but they have proper names, but that's their nicknames in the movie. It's just pigs. He's obsessed with her, and he wants to marry her and wants to be there for her, but he doesn't get his way and end up. And Cillian Murphy's acting is superb in this. He was actually in the stage production of this before they made the movie. Definitely, if you want to see Cillian Murphy at very much intense acting, this is the movie for you. This is where you got the balls, you could say, to be all out there. And he probably channeled this performance when he did Peaky Blinders, I think. Kieran says there's this Hong Kong category 3 film called Untold Story that I'm thinking of watching perhaps tomorrow. Oh, brilliant, Kieran! Yeah, Hong Kong cinema is really good. It's a lot better pre-handover, as in before it went back to China. But the Infernal Affairs trilogy, it's after it, set after it, and made after it. But it's up there with the pre handover. John Rennie, Disco Pigs is great. Yes, John, I totally agree. Definitely, it's I would see what I always do. I always check out the trailer if I fancy something to watch. I don't watch it on spec. I always see if I can like the trailer, and if I like it, I'll get it, or look out for it, I should say. Adam says not seen Disco Pigs. We'll have to check it out. And Cillian Murphy is a fantastic actor. I guess that's who you mean. Yep. And next up, another Irish movie. Well, this is going to be a couple of Irish movies. Into the West. This was one of my favourite movies growing up. Gabriel Byrne plays the King of the Travellers. Which Travellers is an Irish term for, Romany people. And it's about Gabriel Byrne's two wee fellas. Let's see, Ossie and Tito. I look at the box there. Their names are the young fellas. They come across a white horse, which they call Tír na nÓg, which is Irish for the land of youth. And he brings them on this voyage, you could say. This, what's the word I'm looking for? This quest. Going back to their roots, because they're part of the settled community now. And they've lost the way of the traveller. And they've also Lynn Cassidy, from Disco Pigs, sorry, where was I? Go back to their roots. And obviously Gabriel Byrne, the father, and Ellen Barkin and Colin Meaney are on hot pursuit. And they're the two wee fellas. They are adorable. The wee fella playing Ossie. There's a joke that when I was growing up that it would have been like he called his brother Tato. It's actually Tito, but as I said, but he would have said Tato, and with a strong Dublin accent, he would have been. It's so emotional, and it's kind of dealing with death as well of their mother, and Gabriel Byrne dealing with the death of his wife. And I think that's why, you know, kind of went to the setting community to get away from the whole traveller side of things. John Rennie, Into the West, awesome movie. I grew up with that one too. Really magical. That's the film that introduced me to Gabriel Byrne. Fantastic. Yeah, it also has David Kelly, who plays the granddad, in a small role. But it's one of those time capsule moments, you know, in the early 90s Ireland. It's kind of like shows what Ireland would have been like if the Celtic Tiger hadn't taken hold. It would have been we would have been a very naive country still, in many ways. But it's still one of the best, and definitely it's a rare one. It's rare to find it on DVD outside Ireland, to be honest with you. I actually bought this on Amazon. I can't remember how much it was, but definitely way up there. So next, again, another Irish movie. There's not all Irish movies, I promise you. Intermission with Colin Farrell, Kelly MacDonald, Cillian Murphy, Colin Meaney, Shirley Henderson, and loads of others. It's a really, really funny movie, and if you haven't heard of it, it's very likely that you haven't. It's a lot of short stories connected. Like Kelly MacDonald's character, she used to go out with Cillian Murphy's character, and they broke up, and now she's seen a banker. Colin Farrell is a small time criminal. Colin Meaney is the guard or the policeman who's absent after him. But Shirley Henderson is worried about her Ronnie, which is Dublin slang for facial hair or lip hair around here. There's one scene or a couple of scenes where Cillian Murphy, he puts brown sauce in his tea. It's one of those weird scenes. And he gets nearly his whole French circle doing it. And as I say in Dublin, that's fucking delish, man. It's very, very funny. I would recommend it highly, for many reasons, not just because it's Irish, but it's a great ensemble cast for one thing, and it says there, a comedy drama that rivals Trainspotting for balls, brains, and back alley wit. Yes, totally agree with that. From Maxim. And foul mouth, fast paced and funny if you can see it. Yep, there. FHM. It's, I don't know. Colin Meaney is so underrated. He did a movie in 1996 called The Van, which is a favourite of mine. Great actor. Yeah, John, that is part of the Barrystown trilogy. The Commitments, The Snapper, and The Van. It's the same character, but it's a different character, different name, Larry, in the films, because they only had the rights to the character from The Commitments. They didn't get the rights to name the character from the next two movies. Roddy Doyle, fantastic writer. I was actually torn between putting The Commitments in, because that's one of my favourites as well, but that's a bit, people know it as well. And lastly, I think it's the last Irish movie. It's I Went Down. It's a comedy crime. I don't know, comedy crime caper. Brendan Gleeson, fantastic Irish actor. If you've never heard of him, which you should have. He's been nearly everything. His son Donald is an actor in his own right. This is directed by Paddy Bratnock, which is a very Irish name. But basically Paddy Walsh in English. I saw this in the cinema in '97 when it came out, and I fell in love with it. It's, again, this is pretty much rare outside Ireland. Even in Ireland, it's pretty rare. It's, well, I don't know. I don't know. I got it in Kex in Sligo for €1. I just thought that, yeah, I'm picking that up. €1. Yep, no problem. I'm getting that. It's very funny again, but it's, I wouldn't say it's for everybody. It's got a certain charm which you wouldn't find elsewhere. Let's see, Peter MacDonald, Peter Caffrey, and Tony Doyle. One of those actors is dead. I think Tony Doyle is, and he's also actually in Intermission as well. He plays Cillian Murphy's boss. And he thinks he's a big yank in the film. In this, he's a mob boss. But yeah, haven't seen it in a while. That's why I'm a bit stuttering with it, you know. I think last time I saw it, watched it, I should say, possibly maybe about a couple of years ago. But yeah, I must rewatch it. Right, next up, one of my favourite directors, people know, David Lynch. Inland Empire. John says, did you ever see The General with Gleeson and John Voight Carey? My favourite Gleeson performance, some amazing picks so far, right up my street. Smiley face. Yeah, I have that actually, John. Yeah, it's a true story. Gleeson plays Martin Cahill. How to describe him? Small-time criminal who thinks he's big. And I think there's a scene in it, if I remember correctly, that John Berman, the director of The General, he references himself when something was stolen from his property by Cahill. He references that in the film, which is, I don't know if it's breaking a fourth wall or any wall. Must be some wall, but I don't know. But yeah, Inland Empire, mindfuck. David Lynch at his best. Laura Dern at her best. I don't know what else. Massively influential director, and me anyway personally. I recently picked it up on Blu-ray. I had it on DVD. I made the decision to upgrade. And I think this is, I think this is the new version, the remastered version. I think, I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't say. Oh no, it's not. It's not the remastered version. It's the original version. It's upscale. It's not upscale, but it's good picture, but it's not the remastered version. But yes, I have no clue what's going on for the most part. But I do like the rabbits. You'll know that part if you watch the movie. It's surreal, as nearly all David Lynch is. It's thought-provoking. It's amazingly directed. Cinematography is amazing, and it's David Lynch's only digital movie, as in you saw it in digital camera. Um, what can I say else? Just what it says there, bold and distinctive, a work of genius. Isn't there a 4K edition of Inland Empire coming out? It seems a bit redundant. Yeah, I think there is, Glenn. Yeah, I don't have. Well, we're not set up for 4K here, TV and player, so I'm very happy with the Blu-ray. But as I said, I upgraded it from my DVD. Yeah. Another Lynch. Elephant Man again. Shot beautifully. Black and white this time. Amazing performances by Anthony Hopkins, John Hurt, John Gielgud, or Sir John Gielgud, Anne Bancroft, Michael Elphick. So many actors you'd recognise if you're, from a certain era. Produced by Mel Smith, surprisingly, for some people. He was famous for his comedies and his parodies, but he left his name off, as in he didn't want to take anything away from the movie in case people thought it was a comedy. I love this audition. It's like actually watching it at the time, as in you're there in the hospital with John Merrick or Joseph Merrick. You're there when he's at the freak show. You're there when he's at the train station, when he's getting chased. It just feels so beautiful and so inspiring, And it's not my favorite Lynch, but it's up there. I would say it's possibly maybe 3 or 4. Glenn also said it's bloody hard work to get to grips with that, as in the Empire, I'm guessing, but worth it when it starts coming together. Yep. I would need repeated viewings, as in plural, to get some idea. But I do have theories, and they might not be accurate, but that's the beauty of Lynch. You can interpret it any way you want. John Rennie, yeah, Glenn, it had a cinema release, and I think they are planning the physical media release too. Yeah, I heard that too, and it was meant to be for 15th anniversary. I think it was meant to be last year. I'm not sure, but next up, Dario Argento, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. I'll be honest with you, you might not believe this, but I actually got into Giallo a few years ago properly, and I never had a movie like, a proper edition of this. I know it's not the most recent, as in, it is probably a 4K release now of this and all that, but I had to get it on DVD. Argento's work is so beautiful, it's shot really well, and the Giallo is a great genre. Yeah, this is on our own label too, Kieran. It's the Blu-ray. It's got a reversible cover. As you can see, the black leather gloves. There. It is, Glenn. It is a really nice edition. The artwork, I love the artwork on it. I picked that up recently, as in maybe 5 weeks ago, as a treat for myself. Load of good extras. I haven't watched it yet. I'm saving it for a day, like, when there's something on TV, which in Ireland that's nearly every day. But when we're not doing anything around outside or whatever, just to chill and have a good watch. I don't know, the artwork. Kieran has the Arrow version, Arrow DVD. Awesome. John says heartbreaking film. That's Elephant Man, I'm guessing, John. Niagara Falls every time as the camera pans out the window. Yes, I know the scene you mean. It is a sad story, and all remarkable for being true. Kieran says giallo has to be one of my favorite genres. Brilliant. That's good. I know your writing is inspired by a bit of giallo, so keep at it. If you enjoy a genre like that, it's the best way to give ideas and give a homage to it. John Rennie, yeah, the Arrow Argento releases have been great. Inferno was fantastic from them. The sound was a great upgrade. And Kieran replies with, it's a bitch finding that Arrow Inferno release. Same with their Caligula release. I saw it on Amazon, Kieran, not that long ago. I think it was about maybe, it's about maybe €15, so about £12. So I hope you find it, Okay, next one is very controversial, and it's a film I'm not going to go into talk about great detail because one of our chat members here has done a great piece on it on his channel. But I will say it is definitely controversial. Ta-da! Yeah. Salò, or the 120 Days of Sodom. BFI release. It's a newer version. I think Glenn, you had the 3-disc version. This is a 2-disc version, and it's probably got the same extras, I would say. But I got it. I had an old BFI DVD release, and I learned a lesson not to let people borrow my stuff because I never got it back, and that was a good few years ago. And I got this. I was in a really bad place after my dad passing, and I had to get something to kind of maybe I wouldn't say cheer myself up, but just to let some anger out. Yeah, one of Pasolini's best, despite the subject matter being controversial, for want of a better word. I would say it's more of a critique on fascism rather than making it disgusting and the power it corrupts. Set during Second World War, and if you know your directors, you know that Pasolini was a very left-leaning man. So he would have been trying to make, I don't know. No, Glenn, no, but not cheer me up. But I mean, reflects the mood I was in. I was upset. I wanted to get anger out. But it's one of those movies that I got angry because of what happened. I know it's not real, and something similar probably did happen in Italy, or maybe in any fascist state, or maybe any other country. but it's one of those movies that I watch maybe twice a year. At that, maybe once a year tops twice, just to remind me that there is injustice in the world, and it is one of this. It's not the same standard, not the same grotesqueness as the Human Centipede, but as I said, Glenn has done he's done a good review of it on his channel. So Kieran says, maybe I'm just weird, but no movie has ever made me cry, though Threads was bloody close. Threads didn't make me cry. It scared the living shit out of me. And ever since that, I have been even more so scared of nuclear war. I fear the worst when and that was all because of that movie. And I had never seen it, I'd never heard of it, and Lexi said that she had, they watched it at school, and she put it was on YouTube, and we watched it on YouTube, and I was shitting bricks. I was scared shitless, and it's probably one or two movies that has actually made me scared, really scared. Kieran says, some Pasolini. Haven't seen any of his though. I did buy myself his first film, Akatone. I like watching directors' works in order of release. Don't know if I'm the one person who likes it. No, I would do the same, Kieran. You can see how their the work, their style develops over time. Spielberg is a great example of that. Lynch, probably, I would say Spike Lee, sorry, as well. Coen Brothers. John does the same. He watches in work order if he can. That's good. There's 3 of us in the room. Kieran also says, Threads was also really scary. It is the scariest film I've ever seen too. I remember sitting during the credits and utter silence. Yeah. It impacts you, doesn't it, Kieran? It impacts you in many ways. Anyway, on to a lighter note. Next up, Mulholland Drive. Best Lynch, definitely. Besides The Return, but that's TV. I love Mulholland Drive. I love the music. I love the acting, the story. Okay, it's confusing. It's beautiful. I think I read somewhere that, see if I get this right, Sheryl Lynn Fenn was meant to be in it as Audrey from Twin Peaks. It was meant to be kind of a tie-in to that. I think that was an original pilot because it was initially going to be a TV show. But it says at the back here, the greatest film of the 21st century, BBC Culture Poll. Well, yes and no. Definitely up there, for sure. But watch it if you haven't. I know most of you have who are here. But yeah, so much you can say, and I'm just waffling here, so I don't care. But there's so much to unpack. Even rewatching it, you see something new, and I think it's one of those that deserves repeated viewing. Hey. Adam says, for me, Threads comes a close second to Come and See in terms of emphasizing what the human race is capable of and how scary a thought that is. Yes. I think you'd posted something about that before, Adam. Come and see, and I really want to see it, to be honest with you. But it does look kind of similar. Something like, I think I said to you, I commented on your link when you shared the trailer first, or a review of it, or something that reminded me of Ivan's Childhood from Tarkovsky, about, you know, a young soldier, as in pre-teen soldier, how he sees things and his passion to get revenge for his family during war. And it is, yeah, definitely it's emphasizes a lot what us as a race are capable of, and how powerful that could be. You know, touching a button and we could be all gone. That's scary. John says, I love Badalamenti's performance in Mulholland Drive. So strange, great small role. Yeah, he's not really an actor, Angelo Badalamenti. Obviously, people, you would know him for his score work and his music cues, and in a lot of Lynch movies. But I think Lynch gave him a role in Mulholland Drive as a kind of a little tribute, a little thank you. I think he should do a wee bit more work, you know, because he, you know, I don't know. Right. Next couple I got recently, as in last week. There is 4 movies by a director, and they're upgrades. So before I got them, I looked at the extras because I wanted to see, and these are all extras that are on the DVD version, but there's more on it. So first up, we have M by Fritz Lang, and M for Mortar, one of Fritz Lang's most suspenseful movies. Peter Lorre as, well, a murderer, for want of a better word, you know, and people's reactions, and, well, it's creepy, and it's really hits home how much of the world has changed for the worse in some ways. You know, that Peter Lorre's character is a murderer and he targets young girls, and you know, it's a Eureka release. These are actually all Eureka release, and it's a masterpiece. And Glenn agrees, fantastic film, really twist the focus at the end. Yes, big twist at the end. Not twist. Fourth wall breaking. Yeah, definitely. You know, and the Eureka Masters of Cinema series, they're very chunky. They're a bit like the Criterion collection. They're books in them with the cases inside the case, which explains a lot of the story of the film, as in, you know, the history of it, and apparently Lang got a lot of controversy, courted a lot of controversy making that. Next up, actually, rewind it. Dr. Mabuse der Spieler, or literally Dr. Mabuse or Mabusa. Excuse my German. The player, or as it's known in certain locales, the gambler. Now, Dr. Mabuse is a bastard, literally. Mabusa, sorry, again, forgive my German. He is nasty, and he would be like Jack the Ripper who meets, I don't know, Donald Trump. You know. Silent movie from 1922, same year as Nosferatu, and I love German expressionism. Definitely, you know, if the Nazis hadn't been taken over, we probably would have been maybe saying Germany was the epicenter of movies now. And then one of its sequels, I don't have the third one yet. Das Testament des Dr. Mabuse. Yeah, very much it's giving his account of things, and you know, he's in his psychiatric hospital or asylum, as I say, in the back of this, and this is talkie, strangely. Lang decided to go for that option, which is the right option, I think, because it gives a bit more gravitas. So, lastly, last line for now. Frau im Munde, the woman in the moon. Early sci-fi, again, silent, 1929. Special effects are amazing, have to say. After he made Metropolis, he made this, and he carried a lot of the same effects over. I know Lang has got his detractors because he was a bit of a prick on stage or on set, apparently, but you can't argue with his work. It's one of the best directors out there. Load of good extras on these Blu-rays, thankfully, and as I said, there's booklets with them, and I love reading about my favourite directors, reading my favourite films, so I'll be devouring them. Next up, one of my favourites, back to Dario, and it's Suspiria. For those who have not seen Suspiria, watch it. It's the original, hence Dario Argento, not the remake. Not saying the remake's crap, it's actually pretty decent, in my opinion. Some people say it's not, but that's their opinion. What can you say about Suspiria? Beautiful Jessica Harper, beautiful sets, beautiful cinematography, one of the last films to have Technicolor. This is the 4K transfer. Yep, 4K transfer. As in, it's a Blu-ray, but it's a 4K scale, or P, whatever. Should recognize these things. And it's a 2-disc. There's a DVD version as well with this. I have the DVD of it, but I had to upgrade. I'm sorry, but I had to. And needless to say, Goblin's soundtrack, perfect. Perfect for the movie. Perfect. Okay, the story is a bit whimsical, but you know, the Three Mothers trilogy is meant to be a bit weird, and you know, I still haven't seen the Inferno. Oh God, I can't even remember now. Haven't seen the third. Kieran says that's the only Fritz Lang movie I've seen, which I'm guessing you're talking about M. Of all his films, I'd say not a bad choice, though. I should have probably at least have seen Metropolis at my age. Yeah, you should have. Naughty, naughty, Kieran. Adam says another one I'll have to check out. I'll need to make a list after the stream, Kerry. Haha. Well, I have others. If you want, I can send you my my list of movies. So you know, I can send that to you. Glenn says, Frau im Mund, arguably the first sci-fi film. The attention to detail of space. I'm not in Arrakis. Space travel is in the beginning act is interesting. The rest are terrible, naive, but that's forgivable. Well, I have to agree with Kieran there. Le Voyage dans la Lune definitely was the first sci-fi, but yeah, Lumiere, wasn't it? George Lumiere. Mother of Tears, yes, that's the one I was looking for, Kieran. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I couldn't think, my mind went blank. And we're back to Lynch. Criterion of Fire Walk With Me. Again, I had to upgrade. It's all because my original DVD of it had been played to death, and it died. But I haven't played this. I'm keeping it in this pristine. Well, it's not really sealed, so it's not pristine even. Yeah, it's Criterion, so there's a book. Oh, thank you, Kieran. George Méliès, of course. Sorry, I apologise. That's the book. And pictures, loads of interview with David Lynch. And obviously, load of extras. Director approved extras. This is always good. A lot of this was on the Blu-ray release of The Missing Pieces. Glenn says, Kieran, it's the science part I'm referring to. Frau went into some detailed space travel theory. Not sure Le Voyage did. Guys, don't fight, please. You know, you're good people. You don't have to. You know. Next up is my last Lynch. I think. I'm not sure. Maybe it is. Again, it's Criterion. It's Eraserhead. Criterion again, as I said. And if I can get it out of the box, I'll show you the book. So, yes, there's the book. Again, interview with David Lynch, pictures. It's amazing, you know. The pictures, you know, they're still good quality after all this time. So Eraserhead, for those who like their chicken bloody, let me know. It's one of those movies, you know. Is it about the fear of fatherhood? Is it about, I don't know, it could be anything. I personally think it's the fear of fatherhood. And Henry, he sees his child as an abomination, as ugly. It's not an abomination, sorry, that's the wrong word to use. Sees his child as ugly. But I think that's because of, you know, his attitude to being a father. He wasn't expecting it. He didn't want it. And Mary, his beloved, you could say, she leaves him to it. So it's kind of like, you know, if you haven't seen it, watch it. I'm prepared to get mind fucked. Glenn says no fighting here, just discussion. That's good. Glad to hear that. Now, next up is the box set. Now, Kieran, you have to pronounce this for me. I will say Anya. Some people would say Agnes, but I would say Anya Varda. Some of her movies. Part of the French New Wave. This first one has La Pointe Courte, Cléo from 5 to 7, Le Bon Air, The Gleaners and I. Second one has The Beaches of Agnes, Le Un Chante, l'Autre Pas, Vagabond, Jacques de Nantes. Yeah, this one's a bit more loved, as you can see here. If I can get it in focus. Yeah, there. It's a bit more loved. I picked that up actually in Belfast. Last time I was up, last year, and I got that for my birthday. And so I was pretty close. My French isn't as good as my German, and my German isn't good either. But no, I do like Anya Varda. Her stories appeal to me, mainly because the content, and it's speaking of French. It's the first. Anya, I would say, is a feminist, or was a feminist. I don't know if she's unfortunately passed or not. I think she has. If she hasn't, forgive me. A lot of strong female characters in it, and not stupid or evil men. Maybe just ill-advised men. But it's kind of like the stories are primarily female focused, and they're, you know, kind of okay, Kieran, so Agnes, as you said, Agnes. Okay, thank you, much appreciated. But yeah, yes, so one of my favorite labels, Artificial Eye, Curzon, Artificial Eye, whatever, art house movies to do. So they kind of work out. I studied a bit of Varda when I was younger, but I forgot everything. Hence, I picked these up. And I really want Lexi to watch them, but she doesn't like the French. I know, controversial, but... Okay, next up we have some Kurosawa, and Kurosawa. And these are BFI releases. Again, a very good label. I don't really do a lot of well, I can't afford a lot of more expensive labels. So, but yeah, Kurosawa, one of my favorite directors, and I love his samurai films. But these are, well, I'll be honest, I haven't watched them yet. As again, it's getting, sometimes it's just watching movies which are, that are, kind of, it will appeal to both of us. Now, these would appeal to me, might not appeal to Lexi. So, it's kind of like, okay. So, Kieran says, understandable, we're generally quite big-headed over here. I like the French, Kieran. Don't get me wrong. I like the French. It's just, I think Lexi does too, but she makes a joke out of it. Being, the English-French rivalry and stuff. But I don't mind the French. Actually, I like the language, and I like a lot of the culture. So, and hello Sam, thanks for joining in. Next up, Audition, and Takashi Miike. I saw this when it came out first in 1999, and one of my friends said that it was like a talent show meets Salo. I wouldn't go that far myself, but yes, it is one of those movies, J-horror's best, up there. Not quite the best, but definitely up there. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but I'll warn you that it's not what you think it was. Next up, back to Brendan Gleeson, Calvary. Now, this is Brendan Gleeson, as you can see, he's a priest, and he's well, how can I say it? He's a priest, people want to kill him, and he's trying to find out who wants to kill him. Simple premise, very simple premise, but it's a very good drama. It's very funny in parts, and was actually filmed in and around where, well, let's just say in and around Sligo. And John Michael McDonough, great director, very funny guy. I haven't met him, but very funny guy. His scripts are very funny, and he did a great job in this. The paranoia that Brendan Gleeson's character faces is great. Gleeson does a great job. And as you can see there is Chris O'Dowd. Let's see, don't know if you probably have you heard of Chris O'Dowd? He was in Thor: The Dark World. He was in The Program. He was in IT Crowd, I think he was in. Kelly Riley, Aidan Gillen, which he was in a lot of stuff. And Dylan Moran, who's an Irish comedian, who was in Black Books. Aidan Gillen was in, most notably, Game of Thrones as Littlefinger. So, this is the lads in the back. Adam says the finale of Audition is not an easy watch. Great film though. Yep, we're not spoiling it. No need to spoil it. Just look, get people to watch it. That's all. Kieran says I think it says a lot about me that I've seen Audition, the only Miike movie I've watched, but not from Kurosawa. What is wrong with me? Nothing, Kieran. Nothing at all. Before those box sets, to be honest, I only watched Kurosawa's samurai films, and as I said, I still haven't watched, these ones. But doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with it. Chill the beans, man. Now, this is one of the rarest movies ever, believe it or not. I don't know how much it would be, but yeah, it's a rare one. Again, I picked it up in Kex and Sligo or CEX for €1, and it's going for silly money. Apparently, in online, you're looking at maybe £60-70 in some quarters, or €100, or €90 anyway, at least. It's all local cast. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Pretty much end of the era. Haven't watched it in a while. Yeah, basically it's about the Mayans and how the Spanish ended the world, so to speak. Kieran says, I'd like to see Kurosawa's Stray Dog. From its description, it's as if Bicycle Thieves was a cop thriller. Okay, would never pick that, but okay, I'll have a look at them. I like Bicycle Thieves. And next up, Prince of Darkness. John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. With Donald Pleasence, Victor Wong from Big Trouble in Little China, Alice Cooper, amongst other people. Yes. Yeah. One mindfuck of a movie at the end. And Donald Pleasence plays a priest. Hang on, that should be after I'll read them. Yeah, John Carpenter, he did a lot of hit and miss stuff. But that's one of my favourites of his. Along with The Thing and Escape from New York, Halloween. Yeah. But that's the only one I could get to hand. And be warned, another box set. Kurosawa. No, it's not a Kurosawa. It's Tarkovsky. His whole 7 movies. Ivan's Childhood, Andrei Rublev, Mirror, Solaris, Stalker, Nostalgia, and The Sacrifice. And my favourite of the whole lot is Stalker, followed by Ivan's Childhood. Least favourite, The This last movie. Yep. Mirror is also good. Solaris is a slog, but it doesn't mean it's not good. Actually, Tarkovsky's work is, on the whole, pretty impressive. You know, considering he only made 7 movies. Sorry, Ginos. Yeah. Again, Artificial Eye label. Curzon, Artificial Eye. Art House. For those keeping score. And now we're on the comedies. Well, 2 comedies anyway. Remember these? Nostalgia. The slipcases. Ding ding. I love Steve Martin when it comes to comedies. And that's one of my favourites. The Jerk as well. I love The Jerk. These are Region 1, and I picked them up in a charity shop for £1 each. I think the people in the charity shop didn't know they were Region 1. They just put them out, and I just saw them and thought, fuck it, I'll get them. Get back to the chat for a few minutes, a few seconds, or whatever. John says, Stray Dog is great and had a big influence on Walter Hill's 48 Hours. That's the Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy 82 film, I think, isn't it? He also says, yes, Prince of Darkness, one of my most watched movies. Absolutely love it. Yes, John, yeah. I love it too. It's just one of those. It's the score as well as everything else, and the plot is just bonks. Kieran says, I have all of Tarkovsky's movies, but as individual DVDs, the black and white ones and Blu-rays. Brilliant, Kieran. Fair play. What's your favourite? Apparently Tarkovsky was in talks of directing Altered States. Can you imagine that? Now that would have been trippy. Hang on. So that would have been after Stalker. But I wonder would he cast John Hurt? Not John Hurt. William Hurt. Jesus, what am I saying? John Hurt. Forgive me, film gods. Glenn says, I find the Soviet films hard work, not bad, but kind of cold and harsh. I would say, yeah, like their weather. Yes, they are, for the most part. I think it's primarily because of Tarkovsky they are. He was the main Russian filmmaker for a long time, or Soviet filmmaker for a long time. That would have got, popularized in the West, and so people, his contemporaries, or the people following him, whatever the word is for that, probably followed that lead. And Kieran says Stalker is my favourite. His awesome, Kieran. Good choice. Very good choice, actually. And next up is another slipcase. John Rennie for you. And it's another Berman. Surprise! It's Excalibur, filmed in Wicklow, in the southeast of the country, or early southeast of the country. What can I say? Nigel Terry doing an accent. Nigel Terry. John says, do you think he was on Solaris all along? Fun theory, I kind of like. Yes, I would say in parts. Because his visions were a bit fucked up. And that's the power of the planet. I have to rewatch it, John. But I would say, for now, I would say yes. And back to Excalibur. Nigel Terry and his wonderful accent. And, oh dear. And apparently, John Rennie has an anecdote about Helen Mirren, which I remember commenting on last year, or the year before. But yes, Excalibur, beautifully shot. And the score with Obakuna. Is it Bakuna? No, it's not Bakuna. Carmen Bakuna. I don't know. Oh, I should know these things, shouldn't I? Before I even open my gob. But yes, I love the film. It's just sword and magic. This was not to like. And I first watched this when I was in probably 5. And well, I'd recorded off the TV since that loads of times and never saw it on physical media. Couldn't find it in physical media. Found it in physical media, bought it in physical media. And I haven't really watched it since. Go figure. But it's one of my favourites. Definitely one of my favourites. And Merlin, played by Nicole Williamson even. Sorry, that's a stretch there. Well, John, you said it best there. One of the most beautiful films ever. Boorman is a legend. Dreams, nightmares, and myth all in one. Terrific. Yes. Don't forget. Also, it was Gabriel Byrne's first major film. Liam Neeson's first major film. Patrick Stewart as well. So it set the ball rolling for a lot of A-listers. Now, next up is 2 of the Millennium Trilogy or Quadrilogy. Now, I have The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. I have that as well, but I couldn't find the box. I've got that many boxes somewhere. But these are 2. These are the originals, as in they're in the Swedish versions. And yes, I have had a thing for Noomi Rapace, I have to say. And that's why I got them. Shock horror. Actually, no, I got them because I like the story. I've read the books. Kieran says Kieran Hines' first feature film too. There you go, even more in A-lister. So you got Kieran Hines, who, yeah. But yes, I've read the Millennium books, enjoyed them, and I'll be honest with you, films like this, I would tend to watch it in Swedish, the original language, with English subtitles, and then whatever. These actually are both English and Swedish. I've got them, so these are just amazing. But that's me thinking, thinking outside the box there, getting these. Stieg Larsson on the home stretch now. There's only a few left. Leone. Not all my Leone. I have others. I have the Dollar Trilogy and I have the Fistful of Dynamite. But these are the 2 I have to hand. One long ass movie. 220 minutes. That's what, 3 hours 40 minutes. Whew. Haven't watched it in a while. I wonder what we're doing anything this weekend. Next weekend. And well, whew, great cast. Henry Fonda, Jason Robards, Charles Bronson, and Claudio Cardinale. Or Cardinale. Yes, I am sad. I collect spaghetti westerns. I do have a soft spot for Leone and other spaghetti westerns. Kieran, I don't know what the longest cut is. This is, as I said, 220 minutes, which, as I said, is 3 hours 40. I would say that would be it. You know, I would say that's it, the longest cut, because I can't imagine any longer. But then again, you know. And lastly, if I can get down to them, oh dear, my man Alejandro. Yes, it is the first thing I showed you in my first video again. Alejandro Jodorowsky. Nothing I can say anymore. Man is a genius. John says, first time I saw James Woods turned me into a lifelong fan of Noodles. James Woods. Admittedly, I saw him first in Videodrome, but that was well before anything else, you know. The original, The Day the Earth Stood Still, from 1951. In my opinion, a lot superior than, well, the Keanu Reeves and Jennifer Connelly movie. And, well, what can I say? Next up, it's another of its line. There you go, Kieran. That's one you have to watch. That's your homework for next week. Joking, by the way. Of course, if you wanted a short version of Metropolis, just watch Radio Gaga music video by Queen, and you get the idea. And last but no means least, dun, 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 The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, or Das Kabinett des Dr. Caligari auf Deutsch. Now this is a Eureka as well as Metropolis again. As I said earlier, I like and I enjoy German Expressionism. A bit too much. I know it's public domain now, but having a physical copy is important, you know. And I would love if somebody did not touch this, as in not remake it. And saying that, I have to use the loo. Back in the mug. Ow. I am back. I hope you didn't miss me that much. One of the best things about living in a bungalow, no running downstairs or upstairs. No. John Robert Wise's sci-fi work is great. Andromeda Strain is a masterpiece too. I quite like the Day remake, but I'm funny that way too. Well, okay. Well, I seen it, to be honest with you. Not impressed. No, Glenn. You have to go there. By a letter P. P, you know you need one. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, I don't know what to say to that. Yeah. Robert Wise, I love that. Andromeda Strain is one of my favourites. It's, well, Glenn did a watch along with it a couple of months back. Michael Crichton story, isn't it? Yeah. But definitely, it's one of those. Well, it's. I don't want to be kind of condescending, but it is. It's very off its time. But it's good. I enjoy it, and it's kind of what you expect a clinical, viral, mystery solving movie to be like. If you get my meaning. Probably not. So many. See, it's the worst thing about having so many movies. You know, there's so many I watch or I love, and I haven't watched. Some I haven't watched, I should say. And I really want to, but you know, sometimes it's getting around to it. You know, it's annoying. You know, when you you know, especially recently, you know, being on you know, the farm, well, you know, homesteading. Eventually, you know, we're hoping to get a few things set up. You know, and you know, I'm looking after things. You know, here it's, you know, then getting in. I'm just, you know, you're not really. You just want to chill, and you know, you want to watch something that you don't want to concentrate heavily on. You know, you're just tired. You're just, you know, but at the same time, you want to watch something you love. You know, for me, it's harder because I know a lot of stuff. You know, it's I don't know. But yeah, back to the chat. Glenn says, sorry, no, don't be sorry, Glenn. It was good, but I just needed a toilet. Kieran, I don't think I could watch West Side Story. Usually I don't dislike when people disparage whole genres, but the musical genre is the one exception for me. Fair enough. I, on the other hand, enjoy musicals. I think it's part of the well, what I grew up with, I suppose. You know, there was a very thriving musical scene in the local theatre to us here now. They still do productions, but when I was growing up, they had an annual musical. Like they did Fiddler on the Roof, South Pacific, Sound of Music, stuff like that, and you know, it was all acted by local actors, and kind of amateur dramatics. Amateur drama. There we go. So yeah, it was very lively back in the day, but now they're kind of more into serious stuff, serious drama, and they've taken on, scripts from local playwrights and adapting others as well. More well-known works, and hopefully I will get involved. Hope to get involved in that kind of thing with them. All being well, that is. Glenn says Andromeda Strain is great, not the kind of movie that gets made these days. Too slow and methodical for audiences now. Yeah, it is slow. It's your arm. I think that's kind of why, as I said, it's off its time. It's methodical, yes, for sure. They go through every kind of scenario and trying to search out for this. This virus is the cause of this virus, this cause of everything that's going on, and it shows the science behind the science fiction. If you call Andromeda Strain science fiction, I don't know. Would you? Let's see. Would it be? Probably not. John says, I really like the first Trek movie too. I guess mixed reviews, but his direction is great. I love the outbreak in Andromeda when they enter the town. Definitely elements of horror. The haunting is great too. I am not a Trekkie, to be honest with you. I don't know. My dad was. He enjoyed it, the show. And he enjoyed the movies. Whenever they were on at Christmas or whatever, he'd watch them. But I never got into them. Maybe because I think he always thought they were cool, and I didn't, and I didn't want to be. Oh, I like something my dad likes, that kind of way. But saying that, I have watched Discovery with Lexi. That wasn't too bad. It's got some, some shit, reviews or mixed reviews, but on the whole, I enjoyed it. Kieran says, personally having people break into song just like that is so awkward. I get secondhand embarrassment from watching them. Okay, fair enough. So La La Land is not your cup of tea then? But no, you see, for me, musical theatre or musical films, I don't know, it's kind of a fantasy element to it, a lot of it. I know maybe you could disagree, like with stuff like Fiddler on the Roof and Sound of Music. They're kind of more, historical, set during real history. And something like, I don't know, Xanadu, guilty pleasure, to be honest with you, with Gene Kelly and Olivia Newton-John. That's what it's escapism for me, Kieran. And maybe as you say, it's not your thing, and that's fine, but you don't have to like everything. There's things I don't like. I don't like country and western music. I don't like most of it. I don't like certain sports. I find baseball pretty dull. I find cricket pretty dull. Not saying I've played them, but I've watched them. But I do find Gaelic football exciting, hurling exciting, basketball exciting. I think if we all like the same thing, it would be very boring world, and you like what you like, and I like what I like. Everybody likes what they like. You know, sometimes we have some things in common, a crossover. You know, genres and all that. You know, it's one of those that's why we're film fans. You know, or you know, whatever. You know what the word is. It's basically, that's why we like what we like. We see something in the movie that we enjoy and we want to go back to it or whatever. You know, there's people out there, you know, yourselves, like, you know, that wouldn't watch anything from the last maybe 40 years ago, 50 years ago, even older. They'd rather even watch things from the more recent times. That's fair enough. You know, that's their choice. You know, you just, you know, you like what you like. Simple. Sorry, I elaborated the word way too much there. John says, all that jazz is great. Bob Fosse is a great director. His non-musicals, Lenny and Star 80 are fantastic works of cinema too. So talented. I've seen All That Jazz. I haven't seen Lenny or Star 80, to be honest with you. But are they dramas? Are they comedies? Are they what kind of genre? Just out of interest, so I would know. I kind of look out for them if I see them. Glenn says musical theatre / films are fantastic at their best, but can all too easily be awful. Great examples of musicals are Rocky Horror, Little Shop of Horrors, The Wizard of Oz. Those films show what the genre has to offer. Yes, I would agree with your choices there, or your examples, I should say. Yeah. May I add Hairspray? Both versions, John Waters' version and the remake. But yes, Rocky Horror. With Richard O'Brien and Jeepers, Tim Curry. Could be his name there for a second. And Susan, no, not Susan Sarandon. It is Susan Sarandon, isn't it? Who plays Janet? Can't remember who's Brad. They are fantastic when they're done right. You know, they're escapism, as I said. Shock treatment, yeah, okay, that's, you know, one of your favourites. I know. I haven't seen it in a while, so. John answers my question with true dramas. Lenny is the story of Lenny Bruce. Oh, okay. And Star is about a true murder. Very dark films, but amazing. Can't recommend them enough. I'll have a look for them. Interesting. Even part of Holy Motors. Yeah, that was on the pile, so to speak. It's your perennial go-to, isn't it? Kieran, goddamn, it's still need to watch Holy Motors. Get on it. That's your homework again. You need to watch that with Metropolis. Have it done by next week. Joking. You can, whatever. You know I'm joking. Let's see. What else? Well, I think that will be me. If that is okay with you guys, I'm going to sign off. Is that okay? because I am going to see if I can find the Lexi one. She's on outside, so thanks for joining the stream again tonight, guys. Appreciate you all. Thanks for your input and your suggestions and your lovely conversation in general. I will leave you with this thought. Peace. Films are our world within worlds within worlds. And if you delve into a world, you can delve out of it. Enjoy. Thank you. Bye now.